Foogiano waited 5 years to come home. Federal authorities gave him just 14 days before locking him up again. And now the internet believes Gucci Mane may be the reason why. The moment Foogiano got released, everything changed. His profile picture switched to Pooh Shiesty's federal mugshot. Anti-snitching messages started appearing online. Then, suddenly, federal inmate records began circulating again, showing Foogiano back in custody. Now, social media is connecting the timeline piece by piece. Foogiano publicly appeared to side with Pooh Shiesty. Public criticism toward Gucci Mane started growing louder. And less than 3 weeks later, Foogiano was back behind bars. That timing alone has turned this entire situation into one of the most controversial conversations in hip-hop right now, because many people online no longer believe this was just a supervised release violation. They believe somebody made a call, somebody gave information, and the name being mentioned more than anybody else is the same man who built 1017, Gucci Mane. Foogiano came home for just 2 weeks, and during those same 2 weeks, he publicly threw shots at his label boss. Now people are acting shocked that he's back in custody, but many online say they saw this coming from the start. Uncle Murda already addressed it. 50 Cent joked about it publicly. Freddie Gibbs mocked the diss track. Boosie commented. Waka Flocka reacted quietly. Honeycomb Brazy also weighed in. A long list of voices from hip-hop have repeated the same accusation that Gucci cooperated. Meanwhile, Foogiano is now back inside while Gucci appears untouched by the controversy. To understand why people are reacting this way, the entire timeline matters. Every detail, every rumor, every post, every interview, and every reaction from rappers online has added to the conspiracy surrounding this case. Many people no longer believe this was simply a parole issue. They believe it was a message. And by the end of the story, people think they know exactly who sent it and why. To really understand how a man serves 5 years and only enjoys freedom for 14 days, you have to go back to the beginning. This situation didn't start recently. According to many online discussions, the tension has been building since 2020. Foogiano, whose real name is Kwame Khalil Brown, was born in Greensboro, Georgia on the 4th of July 1993. Ironically, he was born on Independence Day but has spent much of his adult life dealing with the justice system. He came up through difficult circumstances, caught a burglary charge in 2013, served about 3 years, and eventually returned home, focused on music. In 2020, he released Molly, which gained major attention. DaBaby jumped on the remix, and soon Gucci Mane reached out personally. By November 2020, Foogiano released his debut project, Gucci DaBaby, under 1017 Records. The album topped Billboard's Heat Seekers chart, and Foogiano quickly became one of the new faces of Gucci's label. But according to some critics, problems started almost immediately. In December 2020, only weeks after the album release, Foogiano caught a federal gun charge in Memphis for being a convicted felon in possession of a firearm. He received bond conditions that required him to remain in Georgia and wear an ankle monitor. Instead, authorities say he removed the monitor and went on the run for several months before federal agents arrested him in March 2021. By May 2021, he received a 5-year federal sentence. While Foogiano was locked up, things inside 1017 reportedly became unstable. In October 2024, Gucci Mane removed most artists from the roster. The only major names still connected to the label were Pooh Shiesty and Foogiano, and both were already in federal prison. Some people viewed that as loyalty. Others claimed it was about maintaining control over artists who still depended on the label financially while incarcerated. Rumors also spread online, claiming Gucci failed to financially support both artists during their prison time. According to people close to the situation, neither Foogiano nor Pooh Shiesty received meaningful help from the label while locked up. The streets started questioning why 2 of 1017's biggest names allegedly struggled financially during their prison bids. Then, things escalated further in January 2026. Pooh Shiesty was released from prison and soon became linked to a serious federal case in Dallas, Texas. According to federal complaints, Shiesty and several associates allegedly confronted Gucci Mane and others at a studio while armed, forcing the signing of a contract release and taking valuables including jewelry and cash. That's where the snitching accusations really intensified. Critics began asking how federal investigators gathered detailed information so quickly. 9 people were charged within weeks, and the criminal complaint reportedly included highly specific details about the meeting, the individuals present, and the alleged sequence of events. Since Gucci Mane was one of the few people with knowledge of everyone involved, online speculation immediately focused on him. Then Gucci released Crash Dummy, a song many listeners interpreted as aimed directly at Pooh Shiesty and the situation surrounding him. Lyrics about betrayal and people plotting against him became a major talking point online. Critics argued the lyrics sounded less like music and more like a public statement laying out accusations. Uncle Murda publicly criticized Gucci, saying he no longer sounded like the same street figure he once portrayed himself to be. 50 Cent also joined the conversation, reposting memes and articles while mocking the situation online. Freddie Gibbs joked that the song sounded like cooperation over a beat instead of a diss track. As the controversy grew, the streets kept repeating the same question. How did 9 men allegedly involved in a robbery get federally charged so quickly? Many people online believed somebody with inside knowledge had spoken to authorities.
Gucci misled. You know how many niggas that nigga misled for these years I had out here banging and doing all this street shit, selling drugs, killing niggas and doing all this crazy shit? And now he a rat, now he a civilian because his niggas ain't around? Get the fuck out of here, man. Gucci a sucker. Man. That shit he did was some sucker shit. Man.
Then came April 21st, 2026, the day Foogiano was released from prison. Fans celebrated online as producers and blogs shared photos welcoming him home. But the excitement didn't last long. The next day, YouTube commentator Seti Nash shared alleged messages from someone close to Foogiano's camp. The source claimed Foogiano no longer wanted anything to do with Gucci Mane. The messages also alleged Gucci never financially supported him while incarcerated. Another message claimed Pooh Shiesty felt the same way. The conversation became even more controversial when the source allegedly said Foogiano believed Gucci's Crash Dummy song was snitching. That statement immediately spread across social media. People saw it as Foogiano publicly distancing himself from his own label boss, only hours after regaining freedom. Then things escalated further. On April 25th, Foogiano changed his Instagram profile picture to Pooh Shiesty's federal mugshot connected to the Dallas case. The next day, he reposted an anti-snitching message, emphasizing loyalty and rejecting cooperation with authorities. Foogiano added his own caption beneath it, signaling support for Pooh Shiesty and reinforcing where he stood publicly. Many online interpreted those posts as direct disrespect toward Gucci Mane. According to social media discussions, Foogiano had openly positioned himself against the head of his own label. Then came May 2026. Less than 3 weeks after his release, screenshots from federal inmate systems began circulating online, showing Foogiano back in custody at a halfway house facility. Reports claimed he allegedly violated supervised release by traveling to Georgia to see his children. Authorities reportedly became aware of the trip through social media posts. Now this is where conspiracy theories exploded online. People started connecting the timeline piece by piece. Foogiano gets released. Then criticism of Gucci surfaces publicly. Then anti-snitching posts appear. Then support for Pooh Shiesty becomes visible. And within days, Foogiano is reportedly back in custody. Many people online argued that supervised release violations like this usually result in warnings rather than immediate custody. Because of that, rumors began spreading that someone may have tipped off probation authorities directly. The biggest question online became simple. Who had the most motivation to make that call? Critics pointed directly toward Gucci Mane because of the ongoing tension and the public disrespect Foogiano displayed online. At the same time, older issues surrounding Foogiano's prison sentence also resurfaced. Legal advocacy organization The Remedy Project previously published concerns about his case, claiming the Federal Bureau of Prisons withheld sentence credits that a judge had already approved. Reports also claimed Foogiano experienced administrative problems while trying to file paperwork related to those credits. Supporters online pointed to those reports as evidence that someone influential may have been working against him behind the scenes. No direct proof connected Gucci Mane to any of it, but conspiracy theories continued growing. Despite everything, Foogiano reportedly came home still loyal to Pooh Shiesty and still against what he viewed as cooperation. Many people online viewed his quick return to custody as punishment for speaking publicly.
Gucci Mane artist Foogiano has been arrested again just 3 weeks after he was released from federal prison. And the moment the news hit the internet, everybody's acting surprised. Everybody's shocked. They're flabbergasted.
Officially, authorities have not publicly confirmed most of the rumors surrounding the situation. Gucci Mane has not directly addressed the allegations. Foogiano's camp has remained mostly silent. But social media discussions continue getting louder. Uncle Murda doubled down on his criticism of Gucci. Honeycomb Brazy directly called Gucci a rat. Freddie Gibbs mocked the Crash Dummy record again. Boosie discussed loyalty between artists and labels. Waka Flocka remained mostly silent, which many people also interpreted as meaningful. Meanwhile, the streets online have largely settled on one narrative: free Foogiano, free Pooh Shiesty, and never fully trust a label boss. At the same time, 1017 Records appears unstable. Gucci removed most artists from the roster years earlier. Pooh Shiesty is facing serious federal charges. Foogiano is reportedly back in custody. And the label currently has almost no active artists publicly moving under it. Some believe Gucci is finished with street rap culture entirely. Others think he's simply protecting his business, his family, and his peace after years in the industry. Critics believe that if making phone calls kept problems away from him, then that's exactly what happened. Supporters argue there's still no actual proof. That's what makes this entire story so controversial. The bigger conversation now goes beyond Foogiano or Pooh Shiesty alone. This situation has become part of a larger debate in hip-hop about loyalty, cooperation, and the relationship between artists and label executives. Since Tekashi 6ix9ine Ine openly cooperated with authorities years ago, the culture has become far more suspicious whenever federal cases appear around major rappers. Now even Gucci Mane, a man once viewed as untouchable in street culture, is facing those same accusations. And many people believe that changes everything. Because if someone like Gucci can be accused publicly, nobody in hip-hop is fully protected from those conversations anymore. What happened to Foogiano represents something bigger for many fans. It raises questions about trust between artists and labels, between young rappers and powerful executives, and whether business relationships remain loyal once legal problems appear. Foogiano spent only 14 days free. During those 14 days, he publicly sided with Pooh Shiesty and publicly appeared against Gucci Mane. Shortly after, he was back in custody. That timeline alone is enough to keep fueling theories online. Now the internet continues asking the same question. Was this simply a supervised release violation, or did somebody make sure Foogiano ended up exactly where they wanted him?